I hope you're prepared, Pinky, for tonight's plan to take over the world promises to be extraordinary. Pinky?
Every night, one plan, one goal, one brainy mouse, one idiotic sidekick, and one completely bonkers attempt to take over the world. If you were alive in the 90s, there's a 98.7% chance you can still hear this in your head. Gee, brain, what are we going to do tonight? The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Welcome to 5 Minute Rewind, where we dive deep into the shows that rewired our childhoods and made us slightly weirder than we care to admit. Today we're talking about Pinky and the Brain, the lab mouse duo that turned global domination into slapstick poetry. It's 1995. You're flipping channels on a boxy TV, probably mid-Pop-Tart, and suddenly 2 lab mice show up. One looks like a grumpy professor shrunk down and dipped in bleach. The other, a sentient sugar rush in mouse form. They live in a lab. They wear no pants. And their life mission? Total world domination. Kids TV. Everybody. Originally breakout stars from Animaniacs, Pinky and Brain were the weird science experiment that worked too well. Their sketches were so good they spun off into their own show. And honestly, they earned it. Brain is the genius. But he's also a walking ego with a Napoleon complex. He's got the voice of Orson Welles, the patience of a tired teacher, and the constant burden of being surrounded by idiots. Pinky, on the other hand, is chaos personified. He's a golden retriever in a lab mouse body, goofy, clueless, and surprisingly insightful when it counts. Every episode follows a sacred formula. Brain hatches a plan, Pinky ruins the plan. Repeat, but it never gets boring because the plans, they're insane. One time Brain tried to rewrite the Declaration of Independence. Another time he disguised himself as a country western singer. There was even a plot involving hypnotic pancake syrup. No idea was too wild, or too stupid, or too legally questionable, and that's what made it magical. Pinky and the Brain wasn't just about 2 rodents. It was a satirical love letter to science fiction, politics, TV culture, and the absurdity of ambition itself. The animation style leaned dark. Lots of shadows, moody lighting, and mad scientist tech. Visually, it looked more like a noir thriller than a kid's cartoon, and that contrast made the comedy hit even harder. The writing? Razor sharp. The show could go from Shakespeare quotes to poop jokes in 30 seconds. It wasn't afraid to name-drop Kafka, throw in a political jab, then end the episode with a pie to the face. And let's be real, half the jokes definitely flew over our heads back then. There's an episode where Brain creates a children's puppet show to brainwash the youth of America, another where he enters politics, and another where he tries to genetically engineer an army of obedient hamsters. If there was a way to conquer the world, Brain was going to try it. But Pinky and the Brain also took its time building running gags, callbacks, and in-jokes. Pinky had a weird obsession with cheese. Brain was low-key addicted to dramatic monologues. The lab was always inexplicably massive. Like, how does ACME Labs have room for a Roman Colosseum replica? One underrated gem? The holiday episode, A Pinky and the Brain Christmas. It starts off as just another wild plan, but ends with a surprisingly emotional moment that hints Pinky may be more than just the comic relief. It's one of those rare episodes that makes you laugh, then hit pause and go, wait, was that heart I just felt? And let's not forget the meta. This show loved breaking the fourth wall. Characters made fun of the network, took jabs at studio execs, and once even predicted their own cancellation. It was self-aware before that became a thing every animated show did. Behind the scenes, Maurice LaMarche's performance as Brain wasn't just parody. It was a full character study in dry wit, theatrical gravitas, and slowly unhinging ambition. And Rob Paulsen as Pinky. He turned what could have been an annoying sidekick into one of the most lovable, quotable characters in cartoon history. Gee, Brain, what do you want to do tonight? It's a line that somehow carried emotional weight. That rhythm, that optimism, that unbreakable hope that maybe this time the plan will work, and the fact that it never did just made them more relatable. The show ran for 65 episodes. Not a massive number, but everyone hit like a carefully dropped anvil. It earned Emmys, critical praise, and the kind of cult status that meant years later, when the Animaniacs reboot happened in 2020, Pinky and Brain were front and center again. No questions asked. Smash that like button if you ever tried to make your own shrink ray out of cardboard and duct tape. And tell me in the comments, do we rewind Dexter's Lab next? Or unleash the chaos with Courage the Cowardly Dog? This has been 5-Minute Rewind. Stay ambitious, stay ridiculous, stay just a little bit unhinged, and remember, subscribe!